Friday, April 18th, 2025. And yesterday, Senator Van Hollen from Maryland went to El Salvador to try to speak with um, the prisoner, Kilmar Garcia, who the government has admitted that they picked up as in a clerical error, administrative error. But now they're demonizing him and saying that he's the gang member and traffic people, and they're just making shit up about him to try to justify his existence in this prison, even though the Supreme Court has told the administration that they must facilitate his return. So Senator Van Hollen went down to see him, and initially he was turned away. Um, he made some sort of a press statement, got his way in there, met with Garcia. There are photographs, so at least we know he's alive. And what a sad, sad indictment of the whole situation that there's just a sigh of relief that, like, oh, whew, well, at least he's not dead. Still wrongfully imprisoned, still disappeared without due process unconstitutionally, still required by to be brought back to the states to have his return facilitated by the United States government, but they're not doing it. But he's not dead. Um, and there's pictures of the two of them sitting at a table, and they've got a couple of glasses of water. And then I guess the Salvadoran president, the Jersey Shore reject, made some shitty joke about, oh, here's this terrorist now having cocktails in beautiful El Salvador. And one of his aides put it's glasses of water, but like salt rimmed and with a cherry on it to make it look like they were having cocktails. I don't know what kind of cocktail it was supposed to be. It looked like a glass of water with a cherry on it. Um, but how fucking juvenile. And I think that's just as upsetting as everything else, is that everything is so fucking juvenile. And that stupid fucking bigoted bullying crowd just eats it all up. They're so fucking stupid and juvenile themselves. I think this shit is funny. Um, it's not so funny when it's going to happen to them, although it won't because they're shit eating supporters. Um, but when they lose all their jobs and have no place to live, and there's no food to eat, maybe they'll realize they did it to themselves. But I doubt it. They don't seem very self-reflective. But that's the whole point: is that the orange felon, um, is defying this SCOTUS ruling that says everyone is allowed due process, and he keeps floating this idea of, well, maybe we should be sending some homegrowns, meaning, you know probably U.S. citizens. Um, and he gets cheered on for saying we're going to get rid of the bad guys. The problem is, if the government is allowed to just disappear people into a prison without any due process, that is now technically a concentration camp, because that's what that is. Um, then he can do it to anybody and just decide anybody's a bad guy. His opponents, the press, me, you, your neighbor, your kids, your parents, anybody, teachers, anybody. If there's no due process required to send anyone to some foreign prison camp, then we no longer live in a free society. And I mean, that's the return of the Nazis. That is imprisoning people unlawfully. And what does that mean for the Constitution in general? Um, because if if the Constitution can be ignored and a Supreme Court ruling can be ignored, what's the point of laws at all? Do we have any anymore? They're applied specifically to the people that the government doesn't like. This is some scary fucking shit, people. Um, but the bright side is, because we try to say something, we try to at least think something positive on a Friday. Um, that we know that Garcia's alive, and we know the judge in this case is prepared to hold the president in contempt of court. And I would hope the Secretary of State and the Attorney General and all of those players, because that immunity that the Supreme Court gave to the president for presidential duties doesn't apply to the rest of the cabinet. So even if they can't haul him off, they can haul everybody else out. I don't know if they will, but I mean, I hate all these people saying, we're coming towards we're in a constitutional crisis. The president of the United States has ignored the Constitution and now ignored the Supreme Court and our legislative branch, whose job it is to actually be the third check, is not doing its job. Um, David fucking Brooks, conservatives you can get in the media, is calling for organized civil unrest. Gonna get ugly, people. Um, but didn't we say this was coming? We all knew it beforehand. Um, so yeah, this is what our 90-day window in which what is it, Sunday? He gets to allow he would be allowed to declare martial law 90 days from his original emergency declaration. Um, so let's see how we get through the Easter weekend. I just think, it's Good Friday, which I guess celebrates a time when a whole bunch of fanatics went and killed their savior. It seems like there's a great opportunity to do a wonderful tribute here on Good Friday. Um, you know, Happy Easter, everybody. Bok, bok.